All right, get your notebook and your pen. Get ready to learn another Hebrew letter, the letter Tzaddi. Let's dive in. Shalom, welcome to Rob on the Rock. I'm Rob Vanhoff, and in today's Scribe School, we're going to learn the Hebrew letter Tzaddi. Makes a tz sound like TZ or TS, tz. And it's the last of the 5 Hebrew letters that has a unique final form or a sophit form. The basic Tzaddi looks like this. And if you think of it in terms of a box, I'll draw a bigger one here. Imagine a rectangle. You start at the upper left, you go all the way down to the lower right, like you're going to make a letter X. Then you give it a base, and then you go to the upper right and come down to the center. Tzaddi. Tz. The final form for the Tzaddi is going to be, I'm going to draw it right below here, 2 more of our normal Tzaddis. A vertical line that goes down below, and then kind of a branch that connects it over just like so. Kind of like a backwards Y. So you see, it does drop below the line a little bit, like you see here. So if we do a purple Tzaddi down below, we would do a Tzaddi like this. I'm making it a little too big for my line here, but that's okay. Here's our final Tzaddi. Back to our normal Tzaddi and the final Tzaddi. There you go. Let's do some giant Tzaddis on our next page here. So if I were to make an Aleph, it would be, yeah, I can do better than that. An Aleph and a Tzaddi would look like that. Except like that. There we go. If I were to do a bet and a Tzaddi sophit, it would be like that. So remember, at the end of a letter, or at the end of a word, the Tzaddi has its final form. So to review our final form letters then, we have, what's our first one? Is our Kaf, like this, and then we have a Kaf sophit, and it goes down below. Let's see, we have a Mem, and a Mem sophit. It does not go below. We have I'll go over here, a Nun, and a Nun sophit, which does go below. We have a Pei, and then a Pei sophit, which goes below. And now we have our Tzaddi and our Tzaddi sophit. So these are our 5 forms that have sophit forms. 5 letters that have sophit forms. So here's our Kaf, we could say. Our Mem, our Nun, our Pei, and finally our Tzaddi. Well, let's go and look at some of these ancient manuscripts now. What we'll see here with our Dead Sea Scroll, famous Dead Sea Scroll, the great Isaiah scroll. This is right at the beginning of the scroll. It says Chazon Yeshayahu, the vision of Isaiah ben Amoz, son of Amoz. So Isaiah's family name was Amoz. And look at this. We know all these letters now. Aleph, Mem, and then this is a Vav, and then a Tzaddi sophit, Amoz. So do you see how he wrote that? Amoz. Let's see if I can draw it on our board over here. So his Amoz is like Aleph, like this. His Mem, something like that. Vav, like this. And then Tzaddi, kind of like this. Now, it's possible he writes his final Tzaddi as a hook first and then gives it a tail like this. It's hard for me to judge, but that's what we're looking at right here. amotz. And that's our Tzaddi Sofit. If we continue on and we look for other Tzaddis in the regular place, in the middle of a word, I just got to look here, and we're looking for a few verses down here. It's hard because I'm zoomed in. We have, we have two words here. Petza, pay. Now that might be yod tzadi ayin here, or it might be a yod or a pei tzadi that's broken because you can see the crack in the leather. So this is a pei tzadi ayin, petza. That's the word for wound. But more visible is artzachem, your land, your eretz. Aleph, resh, which we haven't learned, but see the tzadi right there. Artzachem, kaf, mem, sofit. So you see that little guy there. Let's see if we can replicate what he has. It's kind of like this. You see, oops, can't see what I wrote there. See that letter I wrote? That seems to be what he's got right here. It's like, so where I'm suggesting you learn it like this, he's kind of doing this, which if I was writing really sloppily and really speedily, it might look just like that. But there you go. So now we can see the Tzaddi, both the middle form and the final form from the Dead Sea Scroll era. Now let's look at our beautiful Washington Pentateuch. And here we're looking again at Genesis 14, or rather Genesis 15. Now it's on the same page, but we've moved over to the third column. And this is in chapter 15, where Adonai is speaking with Moses, or with Avram, rather, in Machazeh, in a vision. And he says, Ani Adonai asher hotzeticha. Hotzeticha. Well, look at this. This is Hey, Vav, and then see this Tzaddi right here? That's our Tzaddi. It's almost like a Nun with this little arm, or little flower sprouting out to the right of it. Hotzeticha, I have brought you. So this is the Tzaddi. And then it says, to the land, I will give to you the land. Haaretz. Here's our final Tzaddi. So you see it's a vertical line. Now he writes it and it kind of curves. It's not perfectly straight up and down. It kind of curves down and to the right and then gets intersected from the upper right. So here, right here, there's a Tzaddi in its normal form. And then here's a Tzaddi in its final form. And if I were to try to maybe replicate that a little bit, I would, it's pretty fancy because he's doing he's got the nib and the full Tiberian calligraphy skill going for him here, which I do not have. But it basically looks like this Nun, and then he has this kind of, I don't know what we call it. It's like a little arm sticking out of the side here. So that's his Tzaddi, the way I'm seeing it anyway, which is right here. And then the final form over here is, I could draw it next to this guy, is a lot easier actually. It just kind of, it has the little head on it and goes down like this, as you can see. I'm trying to replicate his calligraphy pen. And then it has the same little intersector up and to the right. So do you see, this is a Tzaddi. These are our two Tzaddi forms from this beautiful manuscript. But like I suggest, our block script, we do just this. And I don't like that stabbing through. There we go. Just like that. Tzaddi. In our final form, vertical line and the intersector, just like that. So this is our lettered Tzaddi. Let's bring all this home now, and we can, let's write our entire alphabet. So we have Aleph. Oops, let's get that centered here, Rob. One more try. Aleph, Bet, Gimel, Dalet, Hey, Vav, Zion, Chet, Tet, Yod, Kaf, Lamed, Mem, Nun, Samik, Ayin, Pei, Tzaddi. There we go. Now, with our final forms, we have, we go back through here, and let's circle which are the ones that have the final forms. We'll mark them in green. The Kaf has a final form. The Mem has a final form. The Nun, the Pei, and the Tzaddi. And these final forms are, as we said, so the Kaf, oops, let's make that a little lower. The Kaf final form looks like this. The Mem final form looks like this. The Nun final form is just a straight line like that. The Pei final form, straight line. Probably let's redo that one. I don't like that hook to touch so much. Pei, and then today, Tzaddi, Tzaddi Sofit. A couple more colors here. Tzaddi, Tzaddi Sofit. Tzaddi, Tzaddi Sofit. Tzaddi, Tzaddi Sofit. And the more you write these, the better your memory will be, the better your visual recognition will be. There's our Tzaddi. And you could do, let's do a blue Tzaddi behind or in front of it. There you go. Interesting art. Tzaddi, Tzaddi Sofit. Tzaddi, Tzaddi Sofit. Right? You want to write these over and over and over and over again, because this is how we learn. This is how our brain recognizes and then takes ownership over the pattern. We want to be able to see it and read it and recognize it. And we know the sound is tza, tza. Okay, so I hope you're hanging in there. You've got to keep practicing. Each week we do these, each video, you add a new letter to your repertoire. You want to master them. And then once we start just learning some words, it'll all come back again. We'll review them as we go. And you're building knowledge. You're building your own competency. This is not just meant to be passive entertainment for you. It's meant for you to obtain your own ownership, your own muscle memory, your own command over this material. And that's essential for you to be able to stand on your own 2 feet. All right, stick with it. Shalom.